It's Healthy Tuesday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Morayo Afolabi Brown. As always, I never do this alone. I have the ladies. Hello.
Good morning.
How you guys doing today?
Excited.
Tucker, what's up with you? How has it been bonding with the kids since you got back?
Carry me, my baby. But I'm intending to do more. I've been a bit harsh. So I'm trying to relax, you know, because I realize that these children know how to lie. Yes, and they actually do lie, and I didn't expect that I would see.
They're growing.
Yeah, they are growing, and he lied. So he did something really bad, and I didn't punish him, and I'm so happy that I controlled myself. I bought him a toy when I traveled, Lego, and it trashed the instruction manual, which means he can't build what I bought. I was livid, but I just told myself, it can happen. But he lied. He said his nanny told him to throw it away. So I waited until Monday and found out that, Auntie, why did you tell him to throw away the instruction? We can't build anything with that. She now said, when did I tell you to throw it away? I now asked him. He said, I lied. I said, what did you do? He's like, what did you do? You lied. Okay, that is the reason you'll be punished. Because I think that we need to nip it at the bud. A lot of adults are struggling with things parents did not deal with when they were small.
My daughter too, at night, she said, I had she dreams. I had a dream, you know, because once she had a dream like this, we all come around her, pet her, okay, try to get her to come and stay on our own bed because you're scared. So she now had this bad dream. I said, Mommy, I had a bad dream. And I said, you can't stay in this room. I said, okay, can you stay with me? As I went to her room to stay with her. She was not happy that I was in her room. I said, Mommy, I lied. I said, what did you lie about?
She wanted attention.
Yeah, I didn't have a bad dream.
I just wanted you to stay with me.
I have a 12-month-old on that bed waiting for me, and you're an 8-year-old child. Like, you know, don't worry, okay, just go to bed, you know. So they are that stage.
Happens. But
we need to let them know that we can know.
Yes.
That we know that you're lying.
Yeah. We need to let them know that there are consequences for lying.
Yeah.
And that should be very strong.
You can't lie to mommy.
Yeah. Okay, let me rush very quickly. How you doing, Elijah?
Very well.
That's your new name, Elijah. I won't start calling you Elijah.
Inshallah.
Because you must go to Mecca.
Mecca is
everything. You must go to Mecca this year.
So these cartoons that we let them watch.
Oh, yeah. It's a different topic for a different day.
It's a cartoon. Basically, I deal with it at home as well. And I bring glad tidings from the Commissioner of Police Office yesterday. Everybody say, In fact, I couldn't pass the gate.
All of us are saying hi.
I say hi. Eniola Eniton, she was so helpful, very nice, very warm. She's in the intelligence unit. Wow. In fact, they have proper departments.
Wow. Really?
I was able to see, because I usually just go there to see my officer friend to help me. And these departments were saying, this is my department. We're under federal, the IG's office. They have their jobs cut out.
And they have facility. They have the right facility.
They're really working.
Okay.
And doing their
That's Nigerian police.
This Nigerian.
So we
should stop using the eye of the local one near our neighbor to see.
What we need them to do is find a way to ensure those guys on the streets are actually replicating what we're seeing in the offices. We want to be able to see who you are, because
I think that the IG of police should also partner with Nollywood and give them access to their facilities so that they will shoot movies that reflect the excellence they want to portray. Because like you're saying, we need to see them.
That's it. I was saying to them that you people don't allow phones or cameras into your places. People really are not aware that you have proper departments like this within the police.
Are they functioning?
People assume. Because the first man police near your house, you see, Madam, what's happen?
Yes,
we don't get paper, we don't get by.
We have to run up. We're not just in here. How are you doing?
I'm doing amazing. I had a wonderful weekend. I hosted the
I've not seen you. That's true.
Yes, you haven't seen
the
me.
movie.
Yeah, Small Chops.
How was it?
It was good.
Oh, I gotta go see that.
You have to see it. It was really good. So I hosted on the red carpet. And when I was going, it's good to listen to your spirit. My spirit said, wear flats. I said, heels would have been better. My spirit said, wear flats.
Because you're standing all through.
I wore flat. I stood all through, taking all the interviews, and my legs didn't hurt. I was able to move around. And I said, thank God I listened to
Fantastic. It was nice though. It was fun.
Nice,
yes. Fantastic. But I didn't see a picture.
Did you beautiful?
Did you post?
She posted a picture. Mariah, you're not online, you know.
Okay, I'll go and check.
You know you were launching the co-excel and all those ones. So.
I'll go and check it online. Oh, let's go on a break. It's Tuesday. Coronavirus at Lassa fever. We're going to discuss it. Thank God we have Dr. Mabawandu in the house, so we'll discuss with him later. But first, let's go through the front pages of the newspaper. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Okay. We're going to start with The Nation. Senate security system can't tackle terrorism and killing. Akeredolu Oyetola Fayemi defend Operation Amotekun. Lagos bans Okada tricycles in 15 councils. Confusion in Oyo as sacked chairman return is in the Nation, and more states confirm spread of Lassa fever. Okay, let's talk about Amotekun very quickly. What's going on? What are the governors saying?
Yeah, first of all, the Muslim group president, his name is Sheikh Abdul Rashid, had made a statement saying that Amotekun is basically to Christianize the Southwest to ensure that because I think they heard that all those that wanted to recruit into Amotekun, they were asking them to provide their birth certificates from the church. So it's more like a Christianization, and then they will use that opportunity to, you know, oppress the Muslims in the Southwest.
Nima.
But the three governors from Osun, Ondo, Ekiti are speaking out and saying that it has nothing to do with Christianization. They are going to employ everyone that they can. It's not about, you know, they had no conversation with the Christian Association of Nigeria when they started with Amotekun.
Let me quickly say what I said to Khan, to the Sheikh again. This is not about religion. And we must talk responsibly. We must at all times talk responsibly, except he has facts to back what he's saying.
Right.
He shouldn't say it anyhow.
Okay, so at least we know that there's not going to be religious bias and that the recruitment is going to start
our
really
religious
soon.
leaders should not be promoting religious bias in any way. Because we can't have them talking about it's so
Okay, let's take another story. Confusion as Oyo has sacked chairman. So was sacked chairman returned. Do we have that story?
Yesterday, I took the story about the Oyo local government chairman that was sacked after Governor Seyi Makinde resumed office last year, and that they are going to resume because they are working based on the Supreme Court judgment and the order from the IG of police. So all of them went to the local government yesterday to take take over, and ensuing violence took place, especially between the southeast of Ibadan, the southeast Ibadan local government, and around Mapo area. There was violence because the caretaker chairman there resisted the previous ones taking over. Well, so the statement is that please let's not have loss of life, because as I went I read the report from Tribune, the spokesperson Alessi Lawyer was saying that we hope there's no loss of life, but if there's loss of life, we can't take the blame. We're going to put the blame on the governor of Oyo State. I'm wondering, can't we find amicable ways to do this to prevent people dying?
In other states that this has happened, because not only because when Malami made that declaration, it wasn't just for Oyo State, it was across the country.
Malami was stating the position of the law.
Court, yes.
So I would expect the AG of Oyo State to advise the governor.
What I was trying to make was that in other states, they had chairman actually resuming, but the issue we're having right now is actually only in Oyo State. Other states, the chairman have actually gone to resume based on this Supreme Court.
They have just one more year. Let them do their 1 year.
Moving on to The Punch. Outrage as Ramfax says politicians' pay may go up. Grieving husband blames Luth for wife's death. Court sentences Maryam Sanda to death for killing husband. Lagos bans Okada and Marwa in Ikeja, Surulere, and 13 local governments. Bello inaugurated as Kogi governor for second term. This goes to reflect 7.5% VAT on transactions from February 1st. And those against Amotekun are agents of criminals. Let's start with the major headline, Ramfac.
So, according to Ramfac, there will be an upward review of the...
They did not say that.
Paper say they go review...
Punch me, I think Punch dramatized this thing.
Okay.
They said there will
story
be
inside
a
the
review. It could be upwards or downwards. That's what they said.
No, they say considering the present realities of our country, there will be an upward review. And Punch also quoted all the human rights group already protesting this upward review.
Because they're trying to dramatize this thing. Please,
now the report now.
We
did not drop this story, Morayo. Did not let us.
I read it very well.
Let's drop it.
Nima, sorry, establish this story. What happened?
They say they want to increase salary.
Who are these people that they would increase their salary?
Political leaders.
Back down,
this
that's the
finish.
problem.
So he has, which I quickly join out with human rights people say, have you people finished what's the level, all the 30 levels?
Yes.
What do they call that thing that they're doing?
Yes,
no, minimum wage.
Consequential adjustment.
They've not finished though. Some
Can
states
I
have
read?
not even started.
It said that the pay package of political office holders will be reviewed based on the current realities. It could go up or down after the process. Nigeria is rated as a lower middle income country.
That's the article.
That's the article. So we are going. So the revenue for our leaders.
The other part we
now
wanted to read is the thought process of the punch writer.
But I think the punch writer is trying to
quoting the chairperson of Ramfa.
Sensationalize this topic and now saying that they're going to review.
That's not what the guy said. He quoted the chairperson of
with all what we are going through right now, is this supposed to be? Is this a priority for Nigeria?
It's priority to be doing downwards. It's priority
for downwards. Yes. But she is saying they mentioned upwards.
No, they said upwards or downwards.
Let's wait.
My worry is that I don't like it when papers use opportunities to sensationalize and cause
so that
problems.
people can read.
They said upwards or downwards, but we took the upwards. So Nigerians can get upset.
We shouldn't see upwards there at all.
It should have just been downwards.
Yes.
Because we have a crisis.
Based on our reality. What's our reality? We don't have money.
That's what they say.
We don't have money. We
on,
are borrowing.
That's our reality.
I'm
with Moray on this one. Our reality is that we don't have money.
We don't have money.
We are a poor country. We are highly indebted according to the World Bank. We cannot afford to review upwards.
Let's
It's
be
reviewed
downwards.
downwards.
Yes.
That's okay.
So we have some calm now.
It's a security guard, Gordon Udofia, whose wife, Comfort, had an accident, was hit by a hit-and-run driver, was rushed to the hospital, the emergency unit. When they got there, they stabilized them a bit and found out that she was bleeding in her brain, so they had to take her to Luth. When they got to Luth, they realized that there was no bed. They were told there was no bed. They had to wait for hours. Finally, they were able to give them, there's one spillover department they had to take them to, and they got the drugs, they got ran the test. Before they could take the test to the doctor, before the doctor could come and carry out the surgery, the lady died. So the husband is, seeking for justice, saying that if they had beds, if our leaders had provided the adequate facilities for the hospital, she wouldn't have.
They need to carry out this case to the end. If you don't sue, people will not be forced to sit up.
Moving on to Vanguard. I mean, we say this every single day. I'm getting it's sounding like broken records right now.
Let's just pray
our central security system has failed, according to Senate President. This is Vanguard. Nigeria setting up facilities to diagnose coronavirus, says Mamura. Revolution now, Jalingo in detention for plotting to overthrow Buhari, says Ayade. Ramfa begins review of salaries to political office holders. Murder, wife of ex-PDP chairman's son, Maryam, sentenced to death by hanging. Tension as gunmen kill 15 in Plateau villages. Visa ban will affect vulnerable Nigerians, says Lai Mohammed. And Lagos State goes tough. Bans Okada tricycles in 15 local governments. Okay, we'll talk about Sanda a bit later because our hot topic.
Yeah.
But
major
headline, go ahead.
So according to our Senate President Ahmed Lawan, our security system in Nigeria has become, in the face of all the banditry, kidnapping and all the other crimes rampant now in the country, the security system is no longer effective and efficient and needs a total overhaul. I agree with him, and I believe that this is an indictment on the executive because people have been clamoring and screaming that, we are not winning this war anymore. There are new forms of these crimes happening, and thank God that the Senate President has...
Just on Sunday, in Plateau, 15 people were killed in Boko local government where gunmen came into the local government and they were just shooting sporadically and they left. Like, this kind of things can't just happen. No security official came in until after they left. That just shows what the Senate president just said. But I want to tell the story of Agba Jalingo.
Okay, that's what I want to take too.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead.
He's been in prison for the past 5 months, and the people have been saying that it's been trumped up charges, that there's really nothing, that because he broke a story about corruption within Cross River State. But the governor has spoken up now that the reason Agba Jalingo has been in detention is because he's trying to...
I'm confused because Agba Jalingo, according to the reports, wrote a story concerning 500 million naira that was approved by the Cross River State government for a microfinance bank. He was asking for the whereabouts. He wrote that article in July. In August, he was arrested. Now you're not entangling him with the Revolution Now arrest. So how does Shore's Revolution Now hashtag connect with Ayade? So, connect with Jalingo. So I'm worried that the governor is now saying it's because he's trying to overthrow the government.
The government because in the governor's word, government of President Buhari. So again, President Buhari should please excuse himself.
How did Governor Ayade come about this? How did he come about this charge that is treason who
would like to
declared that
does the DSS have a spokesperson?
Because if anybody comes out and say that you want to overthrow the president, the DSS have a legal right to hold you back without any reason or any recourse. But so if it links it to treason,
he was arrested for writing an article looking for the 500 million naira for bribe. So how does that
There's no
connect?
connection,
like there should be justice for Agbaja and Igbo, and we mustn't stop talking about this.
Our visa ban.
Minister, yes, so
concerned about visa.
Yeah, so we're concerned about the visa, but the minister is in Minister of Culture and Information and Culture is in the UK at the moment. So he had an interview with Reuters, and he was telling them that though the visa ban is still speculative, the US has not written to us. No, he had an interview. So yes, he was explaining that the visa ban that, you know, there was a Wall Street Journal write-up last week that Nigeria is likely to be among the 7 countries that will be restricted from entering into the US. So he's saying that it's still speculative. They've not written officially to us. And if they do, we are waiting patiently. If they do, we are going to respond.
What leverage do we have?
What leverage do we have?
So we are waiting.
Hey, Lassa fever. I fear as Lassa fever spreads to Kadamawa, Kogi, Kaduna, and Oshun. You see, we talk about this all the time, but it is here.
Very close.
Presidency Igbo shouldn't repeat past mistakes in Gige. Sharia Council roars over Amotekun. Lagos bans tricycles, motorcycles, commercial, keke napep in 15 local governments. Okay, we might not get to tricycle to the Okada, so I think we should just mention it. It's supposed to be our hot topic, second hot topic.
Okay.
So can somebody take that story?
Okay.
So the Lagos State government, Nima and I don't agree on this. The Lagos State governor has banned Okadas and tricycles in 13 local governments, and it includes Lagos.
15 actually.
15 local governments, starting from Ikeja, all the way to Amuwo, Dofin, some specific bridges. Yeah. We have Onigbongbo, Ikoyi, Obalende, Oniru, Victoria Island, and all of that. Yeah. When I read it, my first thought was, we have an existing law banning these motorcycles and tricycles. Yeah. Why are we remaking and readjusting it? But Nima's zone is different.
It's not even a ban, it's a restriction, but this restriction seems unfair to me because areas like Onigbongbo that you mentioned, VI and all those areas, they are posh areas where roads network are good.
Yes, sir.
When you banned Okada in Lagos Badagry Expressway, what do you do with the craziness happening at Yanoba?
Okay, you know, it sounds like a hot topic. We'll make it a hot topic because obviously
I support the ban, but
fresh.
They should use it with
So we'll see if we can meet it up today. If we can't take it today, we'll take it tomorrow. So I think let's have it tomorrow because we have an audience. Yes. They take bikes, so they would probably have.
We take bikes too.
So let's go on a break. When we come back, we'll discuss this judgment against Maryam Sanda. A lot of people are saying, was it just, or could she have gotten something slightly less? Yeah. We'd like to hear your thoughts on it. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So, a judicial drama that lasted almost 3 years reached a climax yesterday when Justice Yusuf of the Federal Capital Territory, FCT High Court, found Maryam Sanda guilty of killing her husband, Bilyaminu Bello. Report has it that Ms. Sanda stabbed her husband with a kitchen knife with clear intent to kill. She was, however, sentenced to death by hanging. Now, obviously, lots of people have been making comments on this. We'd like to hear your thoughts. You can call us on 070-8066-8014. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTV so we can read your tweets. All right. I'm not very clear, based on the story I heard, based on the reports I got, it wasn't clear they actually found the knife with the blood. I don't know. I still feel like...
They didn't find it.
Yeah, they didn't find that knife. It was just based on his friend's, the deceased's testimony, saying that she was wagging around the knife, threatening to cut off his private parts. Now, in your view, generally, when this story broke, with this verdict, do you think... I don't want to say, do you think it was just? Because many people say it's just. But do you think they could have been... they could have soft-pedaled the height of this kind of judgments on this, because of the kind of case it is, in your view? Let me start with you.
Ooh, so, when I heard, the first thing I said to myself was, if he was a man, what would be my position?
We're not bringing gender into
No.
this.
There's no way you cannot bring gender, because the pity, you are talking about soft peddling now because she's a woman, she has a child.
I didn't say that.
You don't have to say that, but that is what came to your head.
You're assuming.
Peddling.
No.
Okay.
You're assuming.
Okay, so let me go by what came to my mind.
No,
if it was a man, for me,
okay,
would I have, said they should, bring it down a bit, or would I have, stood on the sidelines and shouted, crucify him, crucify him? Now it's a woman. My maternal instinct is the first to react, because I see, oh, she has a child. How will she cope with the children and all of that? But for me, I want to be as objective as possible in this case. Crime is crime, and the law is the law. We need to get to a place in the society where we trust the law to carry out what it's supposed to carry out, where we trust that the justice system will be true. Whatever the circumstances, whatever the evidence, there's still room for that case to be appealed. Thank God it's not the Supreme Court.
Right.
But for us to sit back and say, should they soft pedal? The judge who handled the case must have seen all the evidence provided. We don't know. We don't really know the full story.
There was circumstantial evidence.
We don't have evidence, or whenever there's a domestic violence situation where one family member, or father or mother dies,
Right.
I always take the emotional soft side, because I feel that, especially when there are children involved, that there shouldn't be a case where both parties lose out and the children will suffer. If it's the man that kills the wife, when you kill that man, you leave the children without any relative. It might be that this happened in anger, but they have a family, they have their father, they have a parent. Same with this case. She has a baby. Even if it was a male or female that was involved in this, I would have the same stance of, let them, manslaughter. These are emotional things. There was an emotional situation that happened. They had personal issues, aggravated assault, whatever it is they want to use to coin it. Whenever there's a family crisis, we must learn to distance ourselves and remove ourselves from situation before it gets this bad. There are many things like this that are happening on a daily basis.
So going back,
remove yourself from the situation. When it happens and there's a judgment, like there's a court case, I expect that we should change our laws to deal differently with these kind of situations of domestic-related violence.
Okay, I mean, I wanted to take you last because you're a lawyer, and this is like your playground anyway. When these kind of issues happen, there are issues of the fact that, was it premeditated? She didn't plan to kill him. This is you're basing a judgment on his friend said her word against his. These are things that if you had actually a good lawyer, she could have actually gotten something more like a manslaughter or maybe life imprisonment, not a death penalty, especially because there are 2 kids involved.
I don't envy her defense lawyers. This is tough.
It is.
This is very premeditated. Because the provocation in this case, now, at the point when she found the nude pictures on his phone,
Right.
she was provoked. She started to show anger. She was angry. There was altercation. She was back and forth. And his friends, about 4 of them interfered. They tried to get the knife off her the first time she threatened that will cut off you. So at that point, when people interfere, provocation has expired. So if we wanted to get manslaughter, it's totally impossible. If after they have begged you, everybody has returned to calm, and the man dies. There's no provocation, you can't establish it. And even when there's ability to establish provocation, you get a manslaughter.
But the time that it didn't happen, there was no eyewitness.
Okay,
so
now,
let me explain.
Let me explain the circumstantial evidence in this case.
Okay.
Now, according to the police and according to the judge, what he relied on as circumstantial evidence, there were other parties that were charged alongside her, her mom, her brother.
That tried to clean up.
So at the time, the court is suspecting that at the time when she was done with the act, she called her closest family members first. And so they dealt with all the evidence.
Yes.
They washed away, they hid the knife, they threw the knife somewhere. Until date, that knife has not been found.
Wow.
So those facts are clear to the court. Right. And when circumstances like that tilt more towards the person, because if only she could say, and they're finding a knife cut on someone and you're insisting it's a glass cut, you can establish, that. That's better. He had a stab in his leg, a stab in the heart, and a stab in these 3 areas.
That's 3 multiple.
Good morning. Are you there? Thanks for calling.
Multiple.
I'll call from Mushodi. Hello.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Thanks for calling.
Good morning.
Morning, sir. You're live. Go ahead, please.
Okay, please, my name is Inali. I'm calling from Oshodi.
Yes, sir.
You're welcome.
I'm actually a first-time caller.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Concerning this Maryam Sanda's case, Okay. You know, this case, thank you very much, Maryam.
I can hear you. I have to cut you off. I'm sorry. Please, when you call the show, talk to us directly, not the TV, because the TV is delayed.
Talk through your phone.
Talk through your phone, yeah. Go ahead.
So for me, this sort of thing has not, it wasn't the first time, I want to believe. They have lived in that marriage for how many years, and they must have been having issues where you had to deal with domestic violence. One person is threatening to kill the other person and all of that. So it has lingered. And I had a conversation with a friend yesterday who something like this happened to the neighbor. And the man was complaining to people that I want to leave this marriage. This woman is threatening to kill me. People came together and they begged him to stay. Don't worry, now you know his marriage, you'll sort it out. Until finally the woman killed the man. And then everything died down. And there was no evidence because I think it was more like poisoning. So it took a while and she achieved it. So you couldn't hold her to say, because there was no evidence. It's not like this one that you have the knife and the bottles and whatever it is to show for it. But then it happened. So my issue is, we should learn to deal with things when it starts happening. It's not compulsory that you must stay in that marriage. If it's no longer working, pack your bags and leave.
We've always talked about counseling.
We had a case in Ibadan. This kind of case, the lawyer female.
With the Ministry of Justice in Oyo State.
Yes. And the husband and wife had an altercation. Somebody came to settle this quarrel, and they left the two of them alone. The result is one person died before the next day.
That's what happens.
Whenever we must remove ourselves from violent situations. Whenever there is a threat, there is no problem in the man or the woman leaving the house part-time because because sometimes the things happen, you boil up, and a minute, even a second after, you regret your actions. But if there is no opportunity for you to carry out that action, you would have prevented it. Let our counselors, our prayer, our friends and neighbors remove people. Take that your friend that is fighting to your house to sleep in your own house.
Okay, let me take this call and I'll come to Nima. Good morning, are you there?
I'm there. Good morning.
Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please.
My name is Adewale from Okota.
Yes, go ahead.
I pity that woman, and I believe she can't be unintentional something to have killed her husband. So I was thinking maybe they should have subsidized the judgment because of the children, so that the children will have somebody to cater for them. So I pity the woman. Thank you very much.
Okay,
right,
so
thank
you, but I don't think that she didn't intend to kill him. She just didn't think through the consequences. So there's a level of maturity that you have a complex thinking process.
That's yours. Some people say she actually wanted to hurt him. She actually wanted to hurt him.
Mariah,
you're angry, you want to hurt him.
If you intend to hurt, the first stab will stop you. 3 stabs, you intend to kill. So hold on, Mariah, this is justice served. We should be careful here. The issues I need to address are beyond, are beyond this case. In my dealings with domestic abuse, I don't understand why, even between the couple, one person is not allowed to step out, especially when it's a woman. And if the woman keeps saying, I need to go away from this situation. You want to leave your mind, you open your lizard.
You open the wall, you put a crack in your wall.
A crack in the wall allows lizard. If you think, you know in your heart, because you know when you have a mental issue, you have issues of anger, you cannot control yourself. You would be sincere enough in yourself to know. If your provocation is beyond you, step out. We had a case in Lekki where the lawyer planned carefully and stabbed her husband as well. That one is in Lagos State and is still in court. We need to understand that women suffer trauma domestically. And it's normal that when you do it, we should also hasten the process of getting justice. So a woman who goes to the gender desk in Lagos State, for instance, shouldn't be told mediating, go back and bear it. And then she suffers it for long. This is trauma.
We're going to continue this conversation. Let me go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk about this. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Yeah, so obviously we have a judgment. Thanks for staying with us. We have a judgment, and I think I'd like to take this conversation to helping others in this kind of situation, especially you that have treated quite a number of domestic violence issues and marriage issues. I will never forget this a few years back. I think it was about 2:30 a.m. My husband got a call from one of his friends, and she was like, I'm going to kill him, I'm going to kill him. And we're in 2004 then. And he left, and he went straight to her house at that, like almost 2:30 a.m. And when he came back, he said, Mariah, I saw her with a knife. And I told her that, God forbid anything happens to this man.
gone.
You are dead.
That's the end.
She was just threatening him. Nothing, they just fighting, shouting, threatening. After a while, they calmed down. Everybody, they now reconciled. But she said, God forbid that man had fallen on the knife or something, or even maybe you stabbed them a bit and then he had a heart attack. You can actually be held liable.
Yeah.
So when we get angry and we now start getting all sort of weapons, you get a knife, you get a screwdriver, you get bottles, and you get...
That's a case of self-defense.
No,
That Ikorodu lady...
No, the Ikorodu lady is different. So, but the issue is anger management.
Yes. How do you control
So,
it?
there are also Swaza mothers from self-defense. So over the years, a long period of domestic violence and one state of defense, and you don't get your thought process right, you do a mistake, and we've had that. It's even plenty in the precedents that we have. So I need to address this issue from the system. Even in Lagos State, it's frustrating the system we have when it comes to domestic violence.
Which is the best still in the country.
Which is still the best in the country. I have a case presently that even I at some point said, okay, what do you want to do? Because when the issues of divorce clash with custody, it's tougher. And the system, when you report domestic violence and the system itself is saying, okay, let's settle, guy, will you do it again? We don't do it again. That's frustrating. You now shift power to one party. That party continues to build trauma in the other party to the extent that we might have cases like this. This is a clear case. We understand that this was provocation and it's a short marriage. We have cases of 30 years abuse. Wow. I imagine I visited a client in the hospital and she was saying, I don't even want him to know. I don't want people to know. People will destroy him. She bear it for 30 years. One day she breaks and we have a murder.
Yes, that's what happens.
So we need to have
is that Amora?
Yes.
We just keep
cannot Amora if you...
What's Amora in English, please?
Resilience. Endurance. Yes. So we really can't endure this kind of things. The system has to be quicker. And we should see the officers do their job without bias.
So that's an issue of domestic violence. But in this case, it was cheating. It was how do we adultery. So when you find you find nude pictures on your husband's phone.
The question is, how do we raise our children now, girls and boys, when it comes to issues of provocation? How to we need to handle issues.
I know. I'm saying I know provocation. What I'm saying is, there are some things that you will never say when you are well brought up. You will never threaten to kill somebody. How will you threaten to kill? Why would you even think of killing somebody?
When you are well brought up, you can threaten to kill somebody. You need to know what to do when you are provoked. You need to understand the emotion of provocation.
You never know what you say.
Now when you open doors,
Brian, there are some things that you will never say based on how you've been brought up. There are some languages you will never use based on how you've been brought up.
I disagree with you.
I think that from the foundation, our society doesn't prepare women enough for what they are going through. They prepare women to just sit down and take it. Okay, so they soak it up and they fight back. We must start preparing women to understand that you have a life outside marriage. You have a life as an individual. So that when you have, in this kind of situation, you know that whatever I do will have long-term repercussions. Let me live. But when you don't see any other solution, you will think that is all.
Okay, I also want to look at it from the aspect of support. So we are in a society where they don't support women who are, about to leave their homes. You have to consider this, so consider that one. Yeah, this one is involved. Yeah, that is involved. Your children are there. And so we expect that just go back home. Don't put especially even in the police, when you take that kind of case to the police station for a start, they don't want to get involved. Who be this one? Husband. Who be this one? Wife. Man, go settle. They leave you to your faith. And then we need to get to a point where we start teaching people, not just as women and as wives, but even the men, on how to handle issues. Okay, you don't need to use violence.
I have to take this call, but I don't want to forget that word provocation, which is actually extremely important. In all these areas, somebody was provoked.
Yes. No matter
and that led to violence. Yeah. Let me take Yakub and I'll come back to that. Yakub, are you there?
Yeah, well, I am there.
Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, good morning to you all. Let me go straight to the point. Mariam, I think this is a well-deserved judgment that I personally support it. Some people are saying because of the children, they should have suspended, they should have maybe sent out to some kind of jail and whatever. Mariam, the question is this. What about if both of them, God forbid, if both of them, we are traveling out of their comfort zone, and then they got an accident, and then the two father and the mother and the father died. Are you telling me the children are not going to live?
They will survive.
This is a better case. They won't have stigma on them.
That is number one. Number two, Morayo, This is an example for the other people, other woman and man.
Yes.
If you are not comfortable in your marriage, and then in terms of a domestic violence, and then this kind of a case now, it's a cheating, right? You know that your husband is cheating, and then you can condone it. Take a leave, walk out of the marriage. That is the answer. Let me give you a typical example. Myself as an example. This is an example of my family. I have a brother. He's a big brother in our family. He's a big tree in our family. Morayo, this kind of a thing is happening. I'm the one that saved my brother. Why I saved him is this. When I got to know that this is a red line, I told my brother, either you let this woman go or you go before her.
Yes,
he said, why? I said, this woman is going to kill you.
Ew.
He was never believe me. At the end of the day, when he was not getting to a stage that he's seen the red line as well, the woman now go all the way spiritually to kill him. I make sure that with the God Almighty beside me, I make sure that I save him. And then today, the marriage is collapsed. You understand? And then I'm very happy that I did it. I can confirm that I did it. I'm very, very happy. Why? Because if the man go, who is going to take up the children? I personally will do that. And
Thank you very much,
Yakubu. I will carry on.
Thank you very much, Jacob.
Two things quickly. Let's stop judging that. How did you marry this person? How did you land there? Because how did you even marry this type of man? See, you can make the mistake of the man. You can change anytime. You change as well. So you either step out.
Marry the wrong woman.
You can marry the wrong person. So but there's always, it's not a do or die. If you marry the wrong person, you do right, you're wrong. Then there's also the point.
You are wrong yourself.
Yes, now you do the right thing. You walk out and marry the right person. There's also the point of the angle of the men. Now, I have domestic violence of a man who has abused his spouse for over 10 years. And I was talking to him and he was like, I cannot eat her food. Oh gosh, she could. Why didn't he eat? She could poison me.
So he knows.
So he knows. He knows he's traumatized this man for years. Yes. He's expecting that, where's your boiling point? So let me stop eating your food just in case you want to poison me.
Because
I don't trust her anymore. She's too good to be true. And this is what they're telling her in church. Madam, you have to be nice. Maybe you should change the way you talk to him. You should talk calmly. Our guy is not trusting that. Hey, so please, you man and woman now, if you're doing something, you know in your heart that this thing, if the tables were turned, you won't be able to take it.
We have to wrap
Please
up
treat the other person as a human being. At least with some dignity.
What I'd like us to leave this is, yes, in marriages there'll be provocation. Yeah. Of course. I think we need to prepare our minds on how to handle provocation.
Anything can happen.
And as you said, it's not a do or die affair.
Yes. So
the moment you feel that you feel threatened, your life is being threatened, your emotional stand is being threatened, you can actually step aside. You don't have to divorce immediately, but at least you step aside to get some breathing space.
And all those that are settling quarrel, please take one person with you when you're going.
When you're going,
whenever you settle a quarrel, don't leave the two of them. Just take, so that there's at least 24 hours in between them to calm down. Please. These are avoidable deaths that we will have on both sides.
Fortunately, we have to wrap up on this, but our hearts go out to her. I mean, our
hearts go out to the family of the man.
Yeah, I mean,
our hearts goes out to the parents of the man.
See, listen, it's all this threefold.
The judge
society, society, the victim, and also the accused. So our hearts go out to all three, and we know that may the good Lord help us that this will not happen again. Okay, let's go on a break. When we come back, it's Tuesday. We need to discuss the issue of coronavirus and Lassa fever. But I think we'll stick with Lassa fever because coronavirus, we're trying to, all of them is all the same. Stay with us. We'll be right back. All join us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. All right, so we have with us our dear doctor, but there have been several reports about the ongoing deadly coronavirus and Lassa fever spreading like wildfire. Report has it that the coronavirus originated from China, I think it's Wuhan, in Wuhan city, while the Lassa fever from Nigeria is between the January 1st and 19th. We have recorded about 163 confirmed cases and 24 deaths on Lassa fever across the country. Now, how do we begin to prevent this issue of Lassa fever spreading like wildfire and preventing those who are coming in from China with the possibly coronavirus? As I said earlier, we have with us our dear health expert, Dr. Tui Mebawandu. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
Before we go into the issue of Lassa fever, I know you heard our conversation on the this matter of the standard verdict that the Supreme Court that was given earlier. What are your general thoughts on this issue?
Thank you. I've done quite a lot of reflection on marriage and marriage institutions. I sincerely believe that marriage institutions need fundamental reforms. Quite a lot of things is happening in the world that has been reformed. A lot of it has been reformed in the world. But marriage institution has been left without fundamental reform. A reform that can ensure happiness, protect everything concerned with the marriage institution. And for me, I was considering, is it possible to put an expiry date to marriage certificate and a renewal clause?
Background. I know this one before.
An expiry date and renewal clause in such a way that if I am very happy about the marriage, I will keep my marriage and then renew it.
No, let me ask you.
No. You see, and now.
And our prenups also provide for who takes custody per side. Because with the sign prenup for property, we know they sign prenup for custody.
These are issues. What reform? You need to really think about reform because quite a lot of people are not happy in marriage.
Yes.
They just act on, okay? And it's going to get worse. You see all sorts of breaking down of marriages. So the question is that if anything in life can expire, why should marriage not expire before?
It's not. This is radical.
It's not biblical.
No.
Is it
Here we go.
Let's discuss coronavirus.
Is it biblical?
This is what you are
to be beaten. Yeah, is it biblical to have to
to kill your spouse?
Is it biblical to abuse your children? So many things are not biblical. And then if we don't situate it with the reform going on in the world, with reform going on in society, and we said, okay, well, you know what, this cannot be touched, then enjoy your pain. Enjoy your pain.
You said, it's something we have to bring up another day to make it up a topic. But let's go back to this issue of Lassa fever and coronavirus. Please, you talk about Lassa fever all the time. We hear it every single time. I'd like you to start with coronavirus. Why should we feel threatened? Should we feel threatened as is ravaging China right now?
Again, everybody must be worried. The other time here, I mentioned that these germs are mutating. Now, before 21st century, the group of coronavirus, the best they can do is give common cold and no problem. But by 21st century, we've seen them bringing SARS, severe acute respiratory syndrome. We've seen the germ mutated and brought out MERS, Middle East respiratory syndrome. We've seen H1N1. Now we've seen coronavirus. It's the same virus mutating, changing, and bringing all these things. So now, how did this start? A market in China, Wuhan region. They bring live animals, trading, and live animal. So the experience, because that's where the spark comes up. A germ jumps from a domesticated or wild animal to human, and then get transmitted to another human. Look and check how this epidemic started. That's how the China they were considering probably a snake. The germ jumped from that animal. Chinese people can eat all sorts of animals.
Yes.
The thing jumped from one person and jump into from the animal and jump into human being. And then, even as at now, the detail of transmission, we don't know. The incubation period, we don't know. These are just speculations. Anybody saying, maybe some people are saying it's between 1 and 14 days. Now, the question is that, when is the germ most contagious? When is it most contagious? Is it few days after infecting person? Because like measles now, it's usually 4 days or 2 to 4 days before, after infection. Is it when the germ has infected person and now showing the contagiousness gets improved? Or is it like Ebola, where it gets worse as the germ progresses? We don't know.
No details.
Now, so now we've seen it's jumped from about 15 countries now. More than 8,000 people affected, more than 80 deaths, mainly in China. So it's a huge challenge. And it comes to the fact that, yes, for those people that believe the world will end one day, I've created a scenario how the world is going to end. A germ will jump and affect so many people. That's a possibility. Especially very virulent germs will just jump and cause problem.
There are many movies about it.
Yeah. Then the second thing is that a natural disaster can so happen. A synchronized natural disaster can happen and destroy, fire here, tornado there, earthquake there.
And everything goes down.
The third scenario is that, a big asteroid can just hit the earth.
And everything will splash, scatter.
So let's bring it home, sir. We have our own Lassa fever here.
Oh, no, before we go to Lassa, while the fear is, it's already gotten into the United States, and I just came back on Friday.
Did I hug you?
I came back on Friday and I passed through the airport and I wasn't checked. All of us walked through. So I wanted to confirm, do we know how to identify if there's a carrier, and can somebody just by walking by, because I want to assume that they had this machine there that as I just walked, they've seen that I have nothing. But I doubt it. I think it's more like those ones that they'll check temperature and all of that. So what's the process before coming into the country, and what should they have done, and what do you think do you think we are doing enough to protect Nigerians from corona?
What we should be thinking of, what I call, exit and entry check. Now, we must be able to relate with the countries of high, prevalence now, high incidence now, like China and Co. And say that, please, can you help us assist to check people that may likely have this coronavirus? We need to have that health agreement. It will help us a lot. Then when we get here, because if you say that if you run fever, let's check you. By the time you even, the stress of flights can even give you fever.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then even if you have to quarantine people, how many people can you quarantine in Nigeria? Where are the facilities to quarantine in Nigeria? Coronavirus is there, Lassa virus is there, other diseases are there. Where are the hospitals? We can't build hospital in 5 days like China did. So again, well, it's still fair that we look at it and, what triage. Triage is a triage is...
Because you just painted a picture of doom.
No, it's not doom. No, it's not doom. It's not doom. We triage. Okay, the point is this. You are coming from social place. Are you coming from a country where this thing is raging?
Yeah.
Okay, do you have this fever? Let's check you. And then we make the preparation and try to do as much as possible. But what is more important is the fact that we need to sit down and look at what we must do inside Nigeria. Not just...
That takes us to Lassa fever.
Not just about corona, but also Lassa fever.
Yeah.
Back to our own that is local here. Over 9 states now have recorded cases, and the National Center for Drugs for Disease Control is saying that we are having more cases happening and deaths. What exactly are we doing, considering that there's only one center for Lassa fever in Edo State? I don't know why they put it there. In Irua, in Edo State. Though only that one center to cater for the entire 36 states that we have in Nigeria. How efficient is that alone?
We have in Lagos.
There are about 5.
But for Lassa,
there are 5 or so.
Lassa fever.
There are 5.
We have Lagos, Abuja.
Now, Lassa fever is a very embarrassing repeat to the country. It's a very embarrassing, and quite disgraceful repeat. It's a pointer to a lot of things that is wrong with not just health system, with our environment, agriculture, poverty, health system, education. Because you see, unless you try to look at this thing in that spectrum, we won't be able to deal with it. But it's just like saying that, okay, for every week at a certain point, or every year at a certain point, somebody will come, break my door, and take something away. I know that it's coming, the person is going to come.
I'm not prepared.
And I'm just looking at, okay, when it comes, I said ringing bell, emergency operation center. So, because what happens? We have, like I said, the spark happens, the germ jumps from a rat to a human being, okay, and then the germ now uses human being to spread the germ, the disease. Now, usually the announcement is in the hospital. You have to look for a health center or hospital to announce the arrival of Lassa this year.
Again, the provision of kits. 6 doctors have been confirmed to have died from this.
Oh, 6? Okay.
6 health workers. I think one doctor.
One doctor died.
Okay, what exactly are we doing to provide kits for these people?
It still boils down to the system I'm talking about. Okay, because number one, there are, the prevention, personal protection equipment, that they standardized personal protection equipment. But we know for everything that we standardize, once there's corruption in it, the standard will not work.
Corruption in this matter.
Oh, of course there is, because you see that people will tell you that I cannot get the kit. And then now, Someone come, emergency, and you need to really attend to the person. Somebody will write a card. That's a contact. Somebody, you sit with some people. That's another contact. We will send a doctor. That's another contact. Look at that kind of instance. The woman needed a surgery, an urgent surgery to save the baby, and multiple contacts. And of course, the thing blew from there. Now, until we look at this thing from that point and say that, listen, there's a poverty challenge here, one, because some people even eat the rats, okay? Secondly, there's educational challenge. We're not getting to discuss this thing at a local level as much as possible. Then we're not saying that, okay, an environmental challenge, because the real thing is that we must be able to do a surveillance, because the first thing is surveillance, even among those animals, among those rats, and pick them and look, what is the population of those rats?
So, sir, I know that the World Health Organization is in collaboration with other agencies are trying to see if they can get a vaccine. This has been ongoing for over a year now. Is there hope? And is it possible that this Lassa fever, anyone who contacts it can be cured?
Again, there's no hopeless situation. It's just our desire to want to ensure that the hope.
So is there a vaccine on this?
No vaccine. No vaccine. They're working on the vaccine. And then, interestingly, Lassa fever, 80% of the people may not even show symptoms. It'll be good. It's just the 20% and then 1% that is bad that becomes a problem. But again, it becomes important because these germs could be...
But the entire 80 can transfer. They can transmit this.
The body can take care of them, but what we know is that inside the mice can actually excrete the virus for the rest of its life.
Suya paper.
So what's the complication?
Again, now we've come to another... The thought of human being is always that, okay, you are let's kill. By the time you kill...
Another animal would become a carrier.
Obviously. And those things will mutate. We need to look at holistic...
Let me take this call from Trudy and I'll come to you because we need to find exactly what the solution is going to be. Trudy, are you there?
Morning. Mariah, good morning.
Hello, Trudy, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, please. First of all, I will want to respond on the first thing you said today.
Go ahead.
About the woman that killed the husband.
Yes, go ahead.
Just like you said, people need to manage the anger. What you said something. If a man bites a dog, it's a news.
Yes.
If a dog bites a man, it's not news. A woman has killed a husband. We are talking about anger. For me, it's not anger, it's premeditated.
Yes.
By the time you pick up an object and kill somebody, you planned it. It's not just a mistake. What was the knife doing on your side? You planned it. Then on the Lassa fever, doctor, please, I don't know if you will add, is it possible, at least in Lagos, to clear all the rats that I see in Lagos?
Is it
all the
rats or to play with?
In Lagos, is it possible for these rats to be cleared? You see, you are talking about Lassa fever. How many hospitals do we have? Where can we go? We are just at the mercy of God. God is just protecting us.
It's God.
It's just God that...
Thank you very much, Trudy. I'm saying, because based on what the doctor is saying, I don't know what else to do. But go ahead, let me let you respond to him.
Again, first and foremost, the best we can do is to avoid contact with these animals as much as possible.
Okay.
Now, environmental cleaning, personal hygiene, and keeping your food safe, and then reporting appropriately when you fall sick. So the cheapest out of all this is to do your personal hygiene and keep your environment clean. Now, so when you see an environment where you see dirt, rats, chicken, dogs, pigs competing on top of a dustbin, expect a disease. You can't run away from that. So the first thing is that we need to raise the standard in care. We need to raise standard in ensuring that we have a clean environment as much as you can do, even from your cockroaches to rats and you need to raise
quickly,
quickly,
please. You mentioned that someone can actually have this virus for the rest of their life.
The animals.
Yes,
The
no.
animal.
And a human being.
A carrier, you know, for those that don't show the
That
symptoms.
80%.
We have the 80% that will likely have it, but they won't show symptoms. I wanted to find out the implication of having that virus and you're not showing symptoms and you have it for the rest of your life.
This is what happened. The human body can deal with the 80%. The human body can deal with the virus.
Okay.
You understand? No, it's not. You are not going to be a life carrier because even if during quarantine, you just do double incubation period.
Okay.
You know, like 42 days. You know, so that you say, okay, the person is good.
Free to go.
Okay, free to
So
go.
your immune system is built up to fight
to
it.
It's
deal with
horrible
it. Yes.
when it's
And
caught
even
early.
by the time you get
this
tablet,
call
there's a
from
particular tablet you can use to actually
To strengthen.
to deal
Okay, let me
with it.
take Hassan. Hassan, are you still there? Hassan, are you still there? Hello, Hassan. I think we lost that call.
Doctor,
Ready to
so
respond to this question. Adebayo says cats and owls have a bad rap with religious folks in our country, and it will be death for us all. You want Lassa fever contained, and we're killing the natural predators that keep the population of rats and other rodents in check. Leave rats and leave cats and rats and owls alone, religious folks. How does that?
Ah, the owls and the cats. Yes.
You know, there was the spread of bubonic plague came from this kind of religious superstition. Because you see, for me, I'm allergic to a few things. I can't stand superstition. I can't stand ignorance.
Ew.
I can't stand, you know, because again, if you cannot bring it down to proper explanation, I won't listen to you. You understand? So we need to raise a mind to that level because this was what happened during the bubonic plague. They saw cats, especially black cats, as problems. They were killing cats. The natural predator of rats grew. Rat net brought, like from China again, from that secret route, and brought bubonic plague to Europe and wiped more than half of the population of Europe.
So,
you know, in fact, when the thing got to Paris, the Bishop of Bath, just across the canal, was organizing prayer warriors. Of course, he didn't enter London and kill half of them.
so it's not about praying.
It's not praying. So there are science behind this thing that we must all, you know, sincerely face and say that, listen, Lassa fever is here. Our health system is not optimal.
So let's get rats.
What I'm going to
Let's get cats.
no. What I'm going to do is clean, because cats has its own problem also. You have to let me then raise the standard of my hygiene. Let me clean my house. Let's keep talking about it. If you have illness, don't just self-medicate. So these are some of the things that we can do. Okay, look at that coronavirus. I don't see any reason why, for instance, in Nigeria, the cheapest thing is that everybody will talk about it. This virus can enter Nigeria. We do business with China every time. You know, if you are going to go to public place, buy a face mask and cover your. What is the big deal?
Sir, our hospitals.
Let me take this call from Martha and I'll come to you. Martha, are you still there?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please.
I'm a first-time caller.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I want to talk about the issue of Sandra, the
Go
woman
ahead.
that murdered her husband.
Yeah, it's your
She has been
view.
passing through depression. I've been in a marriage for good 11 years, and I've been passing through this same problem. Not until last year, when I get angry and left the house, left the children and go away. So people keep calling me, consider the children. I keep on telling them, if I'm in that house and they hit me something and I die, what did you want me to do? Because in May, I was pushed out with my loads, with beatings, stabbed at the back, bite, everything. In September, the same thing. November, I was punched at the face. For 33 good hours, my eyes was closed and it was bleeding. So how do we manage this anger they are talking about? I don't know how to manage it. I don't know. Maybe you people will tell me how to manage it or to give way, because I heard somebody saying we should just go for part-time break. And I believe I need it. But family keep on saying, manage it, stay there, consider children.
You need a break and you need professional help.
Thank you very much, Martha, for sharing your views. This is not something we can discuss over the phone right now. It's something we need to. A lot of women are going through this and they need help. We're going to try to bring in professionals on the show to help us discuss how to handle these situations, especially when children are involved and family pressure is asking you to think about the kids. All right, so we have to
I
finally
wanted to ask a question. So there's a drug that's supposed to use. Do you, based on your knowledge, do we have enough of these drugs in all the hospitals that are within the areas where this is really endemic?
I'm sure government is trying to take as much drug as possible. But of course, if the spread keeps growing like this, you will not be able to meet up even with personal protection equipment or even drugs. So the first thing is that we need to spot and stop the spread.
And how can we do that? How can people watching now protect themselves?
You know, personal hygiene.
Personal hygiene matter is...
My sister, no, it's not nebulous. It's clear, you know. Now, I've been here now. I've encountered people. I'm going to go to my house office or whatever. I have to wash my hand first. That's basic. I have to wash my hand. And in my house, you know, my bins, they are kept well. They are properly kept and covered.
What I do in my yes.
My food are protected.
Yes.
If I see any rat, I have to find a way to kill the rat.
Yeah.
Okay?
What I do is that,
these are just
for easy examples, when you buy food, especially those in the wraps, I put them in either you put in a container, a sealed container, or you put it in a Ziploc. Make sure your food, all the food you have in your pantry are properly protected, so it's not they're exposed to possible rats. Then your trash, for example, what I do, I buy that yellow and black. I've always said it here. That yellow and black, the whole pack is about 650 naira for the entire. It's like 100 in the pack. You buy it, and that's what you use to put all your trash. You're done. You seal it. You trash it in a big trash outside, and make sure the one outside is covered. So those are little things you can do because you don't want to see where there are rats coming around, and that's an indication of possible disease.
I wanted to ask quickly, hospitals, are they equipped to test? You know, anytime you go to the hospital, they run tests. Malaria and typhoid. If you have Lassa fever, for instance, and you go there and because I think the symptoms are almost the same, fever, cold and fever and all of that. Are we equipped to even identify? Detect.
Well, again, high index of suspicion at the level of the medical practitioner. Well, what you do is that you run a test, and for sometimes diagnosis of exclusion. Now, you run a test, no typhoid, no malaria, no any other thing. You just see some funny blood picture, and you said, okay, wait a minute. Well, maybe the person has taken some anti-malaria and is not getting well. You know, so, okay. At that point, you have to send to center where they can do the test. And there are not many in Nigeria. Before it used to be 2. I think there are about 4 or 5 now. So that your suspicion, you have to. But again, the challenge is this. Even when you collect the specimen, to get people to send it to that place is even a wahala.
Another one.
Because who is going to pay? Transportation of the specimen. Yeah, absolutely. Or, you know, are you going to make a phone call and say that, listen, you know, I'm in a village in Lagos State, I have a phone call, come and pick the specimen. You know, so we have a whole challenge.
Can we take multivitamins to help us?
No, build your immune system. Boost your immune system. That's the first defense. That's you know, the
strengthen your immune system. Take fruits, vegetables, the whole works. Okay. Unfortunately, I have to wrap up, but I think generally you've told us we have to keep the neighborhood clean, our environment clean, and coronavirus. I read in the papers today. I think the Minister for State was saying that there was a case which they tested somebody and they sent to, is it Netherlands or South Africa to get tested, but there's no confirmed case yet, but they're still monitoring and ensuring that those who are at the borders are making sure those coming in are tested. But Soko just came in very, very recently and said she wasn't tested. So either way, we just hope and pray as we always do. That's our favorite thing. We will pray and fast. Now coronavirus will not come and join Lassa fever. We're already here. Have a fabulous day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.